Welcome back, everybody, to the Fretboard Journal podcast. I'm your host, Jason Verlinde, the founder of the Fretboard Journal magazine, and I think as of this week, we are 20 years old. I cannot believe it. 20 years ago, this week, that very first issue with David Grisman on the cover came out. We've been at it ever since. Our 57th issue is out now, and our 58th is just around the corner, so if you haven't joined us yet, go to fretboardjournal.com, click on that subscribe button. This week on the show, I'm talking to Dan Horne from Grateful Shred. Yes, we're mixing things up. I'm talking to a band that covers the Grateful Dead as well as the Jerry Garcia Band, and it was fascinating to hear how Dan got into this world. It was great to hear about his recording studio, and it was great to hear about how exacting they are when it comes to replicating the sound and songs of the Dead and the Jerry Garcia Band, and where they stray a little bit. This was a great conversation, and it was great to hear Dan's thoughts on how they're tackling this incredible repertoire. They have a new record out called Might As Well. There's also a live record that's out this year. Check those out. Add them to your listening habits, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. As always, I take your feedback at podcast@fretboardjournal.com. And if you love the show, go on over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, and thank our sponsors, Peghead Nation, delivering some of the coolest and most informative guitar instruction online imaginable. They also have banjo and mandolin instruction as well. You can use the discount code Fretboard when you check out and get your first month free. So many great Fretboard Journal writers and subjects are contributing there and teaching there. It's really a cool thing. We're also brought to you by Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar here in Seattle, Washington, one of my favorite guitar stores in the land. They've got a full-service repair and restoration shop. They have an ever-rotating inventory of cool vintage guitars, amps, synths, you name it, including a lot of those Fenders that are made just for Japanese market, and so much more. It's really one of my favorite stores to go to. And last but not least, Stringjoy Strings is sponsoring the show once again. You can use the discount code Fretboard, get 10% off your first order at stringjoy.com. Stringjoy might be the new kid on the block or feel that way when it comes to making guitar strings, but they do incredible work, and so many of my favorite musicians, including people we've had on this show, swear by these things, myself included. So go to stringjoy.com. And with all of that out of the way, here's my conversation with Dan Horne from Grateful Shred. I hope you enjoy it. Dan, welcome.
Hi.
Hey, I see cables behind you. Is this your recording studio you're at?
Yep.
Talk to me about that. Where is it?
It's in Glendale, outside of LA, just kind of right up in the hills above like Eagle Rock area of LA. So it's a cool little spot that's quiet and peaceful up above the city.
Unaffected by the fires?
Well, I did get evacuated, but it was coming my direction, but then luckily they stopped it in time.
And you've been writing the dual careers of running a studio as well as being a musician this whole time, or did one kind of take the lead for a while?
No, they definitely go hand in hand, where, a lot of the people that I record and do studio work with, I meet through performing and playing, so they go together.
And I want to talk to you about Grateful Shred and the new record that came out earlier this year. But let's walk a little bit through your music career trajectory. Like, where did you grow up? And let's talk about guitar a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, I grew up in Palo Alto, California, which is a cool place to grow up. A lot of history. Yeah. Actually, didn't even realize Stevie Nicks is from there. I didn't, for some reason, that passed over my memory.
There's some Dead history there too, right?
Yep. Pigpen went to my high school, and the coolest thing is the guitar store where I used to go take lessons was the one that was Draper's, which is where Jerry taught lessons, and they used to hang out there a lot. So that was a cool. Back then I was like, that was just my local spot.
Okay.
Where I bought my first guitar and all that stuff.
Griffin, would you go to Griffin too?
Griffin was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I would go there when I started playing upright bass. They had some cool uprights there. but it's like an acoustic, it's kind of fancy too. That place was kind of fancy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up in Palo Alto, were your folks in the education biz or Silicon Valley or something different?
Stanford.
Yeah.
They were at Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you grew up around that kind of hub of intellectual music activity.
Yeah. I'm of the age where it was pre like full on .com internet boom. So it was more of a hippie kind of nerdy, had the history of like the LSD and the Grateful Dead and, a lot of that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool.
And what music did you first gravitate towards?
Well, I mean, my dad played guitar and my mom played piano. So, they kind of showed me cool stuff when I was young. But then when the usual stuff. But then when I kind of picked my own music, I was like really into like Bay Area, like Primus and Metallica, that kind of thing. Yeah. There's a whole scene too of like local bands that were kind of in that world too that I kind of got into.
Yeah. So how do you go from that to the Dead?
Well, that's funny because I would go to the parking lot at Shoreline. Oh, and Frost. I went to a Frost parking lot, but I was like not listening. Which
what's the Frost Park? I know the Shoreline Amphitheater, but what's the Frost?
Oh, Frost is on the Stanford campus.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. They've revitalized it now, but it was just like a dirt hole in the ground with the stage back then, and it was cool. A lot of good bands would play there. It was like the Stanford campus theater.
Okay.
It was kind of under the shadows of this football stadium, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Cool spot.
And you said you were going to the parking lot. You weren't going to the actual shows.
No, which I do regret, but I was like 15 or something. So, and I went to Laguna Seca. That was cool. Like a racetrack that they used to play at, but never. But yeah, so they weren't like, I was like a little punk metal kid. So, it was later that I kind of got into, the Dead, and that was more through playing with, like jamming with friends and learning songs to play, and stuff like that. Rather than, I kind of came through it that way of like through playing guitar and playing bass and stuff.
Yeah. And origin of Grateful Shred, like what's the origin story there?
Well, Austin McCutcheon has had his band, and he was playing a lot around town because it is a country band. So he was playing, like every week, different venues. And I think it was a party that he had that his band couldn't do. And so me and Sam and Clay and Austin all kind of lived together. So he was just like, oh, I got this show and no band. Well, let's do Dead songs because we knew them all and we only had a few days. So there was that. And then that turned into another show and then another show. And then we kind of got immediate kind of attention just because it was fun and we were having fun. I don't know. It was pretty organic.
How long ago was that?
I'm really bad at remembering the year, but I think I don't even know, 2018, 2017.
Okay. So you've been at this a while.
Yeah.
And mostly just around LA playing shows.
Yeah. Well, we had our manager, Jared Flam. He kind of got like really excited about it really quick. So that was kind of a big thing too, getting someone who's like, I can make you guys some money. So he started booking us. But it was funny, actually. Some of the first shows I think Austin booked, like there was one, he used to be a park ranger in Yosemite and he booked us a show over there. And then we got this cool show up in Mount Shasta at the Mount Shasta Mushroom Festival. So, it's kind of just started growing like that.
I mean, I guess that's the beauty of being in a Dead kind of band is like the crowd will come to you even if they haven't heard of you.
Right. Yes. So that was cool. A good
Yeah.
way to get it going.
And what you said Austin was in a country band. What kind of band were you in pre this band?
Well, I played with Cass McCombs.
Yeah.
That was my like main thing, and also our band called the Skiffle Players. That was I put a lot of attention into that, and then I played with Jonathan Wilson.
Yeah.
So that was like what I would do. That was kind of my gig for touring.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time.
I guess what I'm getting at is like, you know, with the Fretboard Journal, we often talk about gear and our love for guitars.
Yeah.
The gear that you guys have, and I know you've got the alembic bass and everything, like it's very specific to the Dead sound. And like, walk me through how you went down that rabbit hole of like, okay, we're a band that covers some Dead stuff to like, we're going to emulate to a T like the actual gear.
Well, so I was kind of into that stuff before.
Okay.
Where like definitely I think it's always been kind of a thing. I think I would say to me it's more of a California thing. You know, Alembic is a California company, and I got into that, and they're also really cool. So like I started like talking to them and like, wow, it's cool to have a company that makes such cool gear and is also like nice people. They want to text about stuff and, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of got into it before when I was playing with Wilson. I got an Alembic when we were on tour. I got it at Chicago Music Exchange. And
like
then,
a vintage one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but it was kind of a random one. And then I got on, back when Craigslist was the thing. I got on Craigslist in LA, and I saw the one that I have now, the Series 1. I got that on Craigslist. That's a 78. So I kind of got into it through that, through the guitar, through the collecting thing.
I'm not used to hearing about vintage Alembics being on Craigslist. Like, did this thing have a story of like somebody?
Kinda.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a guy. It's in LA, as you probably know. There's so many like guys that had probably a career in the 80s or something and now live out in the valley and have all this cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you just look and you find this stuff. And like, I found this Alembic. So I went out there and sure enough, he's got one of those big houses in the valley with a garage full of crap, which I kind of have now. So I am this person, but, and he's like, oh, I got this Alembic here. I want to get a Eric Clapton Sweetwater edition signature Martin acoustic, but will you trade? I was like, sure. So I went and called Sweetwater and I got like, what's the cheapest you can get me this Martin? Like, oh yeah, sure. They gave me a great deal on it and they sent it to me in like a few days. And I showed up at the guy's house with the brand new Martin and he traded it.
That's like the deal of the century, right?
It was a good deal. I mean, it was an expensive Martin. That's a really nice guitar, that Clapton signature. So.
Wow. And the Alembic worked? Everything worked?
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I sent it back. I've played it so much. So Alembic is now, I think they've done a few things. Nothing like, they didn't change anything, but they've just fixed some electronics and stuff like that.
And I mean, how far do you go? Do you guys? I have not seen you live yet. Like, you're not doing the Macintoshes on the back line, are you?
No, okay. It's funny. I like try to toe. I definitely toe the line a little bit because we do like I like to do my own thing too. So
yeah,
but yeah, I go back. I have some of those wall of sound cabinets.
You do?
Yeah, which are really cool, but I also have like some older Sun 215 cabs that I really like. So it's, I for one thing, I like to change my stuff around. I don't like have one thing that I just always use. So I try to like, it's fun to experiment. Like actually last night I played a show and I just use a Princeton.
Yeah.
For bass, and I was like, just the sound engineer was like, okay, what am I? He's like, you can use my bass rig. We got one. I was like, no, we just put a 57 on this and turn it up in the PA. And he was like, okay, and then
And
it
it
sounded
worked.
cool. Yeah, because I didn't have a drummer, so I was like, I want to use a guitar amp so I can use reverb and get a little grit. So yeah, I like to change it up.
You guys came out with, I think it's your first, might as well as first record, right?
Yeah.
Did you record that at your studio?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the thought process there in terms of like the material you covered and the vibe you were going after?
Well, we kind of tossed a bunch of ideas around, but we came up with doing stuff that they never did on a studio record. Then we kind of like went with all the other thing was just to do songs that we didn't have a lot of time. So and also we wanted to do songs that kind of like described us as, our sound and our take on stuff. So that was part of it too.
Do you guys enjoy or find more fun in doing the sort of non-dead classic song, like the songs that aren't,
Yeah. I don't know. I like, sometimes I feel, I like it all, to be honest. Sometimes I'm like, Grateful Dead wrote so many great songs. Why do we play so many covers? So yeah, I'm in both camps, but then it's fun to just kind of explore and expand the repertoire, like as far out as we can take it. So we're like, oh, we'll do this Donna song, or, we did that Sweet Melinda Peter Rowan song, so we try to push the limits, the boundaries, while keeping it within the repertoire.
As Grateful Shreds become a bigger and bigger deal, like, do you find yourself being like a historian of all things Dead and trying to like learn the entire catalog? And
yeah, I think that's important to be like, kind of do our homework for sure. And, because you never know. A lot of our fans, a lot of people that go to the shows are going to be way beyond any knowledge that I could ever have, which is really cool. So they school us sometimes. And then there's also people that aren't as, deep, and we get to teach them a few things. So it's cool to kind of learn. I'm always learning new stuff. So
yeah. And what's next for you guys?
Well, we have a tour that starts on the 10th in Ventura, California, and then we kind of meander across the country to an exciting. We get to go to Toronto also, so we go to Canada, and then we do Halloween in Port Chester at the Capitol Theater in New York. So that's kind of the big show of the tour. That'll be exciting. And then I think we end in DC or Connecticut. I gotta look. But yeah.
And then what's on your horizon on the non-Grateful Shred front? What are you working on?
Well, let's see. We made a record with Michaela. Me and Michaela and John made a record for Michaela Davis. Mm-hmm. So her next solo record is going to be coming out in May, and I'm just like finishing mixing it right now. So that's been like a really big project that it's about a year we've been working on it, and it's kind of like a big, like almost like a big like rock record. It's like a lot of big drums and really cool guitars, and of course Michaela plays the harp. So it's like really exciting. I think it's going to come out on Kill Rock Stars, which is a cool label, and so that's kind of the next thing that I'm just like wrapping up. And then I'm playing with Cass McCombs at Hardly Strictly Bluegrass next weekend. I'm going to play guitar and pedal steel, so that's exciting.
How are you at pedal steel?
I'm okay. I mean, there's so many great players, so it's one of those things. I think that's a common thing for people that are like, well, I do a lot of stuff, and then the people that just do pedal steel, they're like, oh yeah, it's
a whole universe.
Exactly. I mean, I think Jerry was probably like that. He's like, well, I'm pretty good at pedal steel, but then I got these other guys that are
yeah,
that are, so maybe I should just go back to guitar and singing. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun.
And what is your pedal steel of choice?
I have a show bud.
Okay.
Yeah. I think steel is cool because when it's not that hard to pick it up and like start playing and making it sound cool. So I think it shouldn't be people should try it because it's not that hard. It's almost like a harmonica in a way where if you do the stuff, you are going to play a right note. But if the problem with it on the flip side of it being a harmonica is you can easily fall off that, and be out of tune. So it's a cross between like a trombone and a harmonica, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a little bit like a theremin. You can make it sound cool if you just need to do two notes. The minute you try to get fancy, it sort of separates the men from the boys.
Which is the thing about the people that are really good is if you know it's also an instrument that has deep theory possibilities. So if you can play so many crazy chords and counterpoint melodies, and if you want to get into that world, and I think a lot of people that are really good do get into that world. So that's kind of the daunting thing about it. But if you want to play the chords on it, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And I think more people should try it. But I had my first teacher, he quit. He told me, I went to the first lesson and I was like, yeah, I got a show in a month. And he's like, oh no, you can't do it. I don't want to do this. And he's like, no. He said no.
Was this an old guy?
Yeah, he was an old guy. He's like, no, you're not allowed in the pedal steel club.
Did you do the show anyways?
Yeah, I found this other guy who helped me. And then my first lesson was literally, here's how you put the legs on and tune it. And here's like the chords. And I was like, okay, cool. And then after that, you're kind of, if you play guitar or piano, then it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
To get going.
So I guess the takeaway is don't tell your instructor what your goals are.
Yeah, exactly. Or don't listen to your instructor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, it's fun.
The record's great, as is your solo record.
Oh, thanks.
I love that. Yeah. Is your studio just like dialed in for like the more psychedelic side of recordings, or do you do everything?
I kind of do everything. Like the Michaela record, we have some like pretty big sounding rock and roll drums on there and stuff that we did it all here. But yeah, I mean, I use tape but I also love my computer. You can see it back there.
I can see it right there. Yeah.
Big Pro Tools guy. I love doing all that stuff because it's so fun and you can kind of just make anything happen that you think of. So
yeah,
I like doing it all.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for talking.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. That was Dan Horne. I hope you enjoyed our chat. The holidays are just around the corner, folks. I hope everybody is staying sane and taking care of yourself. As always, head on over to our YouTube channel if you want to distract yourself. And we have so many other podcasts as well if you want to check those out. We're here to keep you company. Thanks as always for tuning in.